He is urging the government and public sector unions to safeguard Jamaica's economic gains as they engage in wage negotiations. This amid early signs that wage negotiations between the government and trade unions are set to be adversarial. The council recently convened a special meeting to discuss the talks. Dana Davy reports.
The National Partnership Council, first launched in 2011, is a social dialogue collaboration among the government and major stakeholders. The council includes trade unions, the opposition, the private sector, and representatives of women, youth, and academic groups. The council recently convened a special meeting on the negotiations with representatives of the government, unions, public sector, the private sector, civil society, and the Fiscal Advisory Committee. Chaired by civil society leader Professor Alvin Wint, the meeting focused on the ongoing public sector wage negotiations in the broader context of Jamaica's fiscal position. The council urged the parties to ensure that wage settlements are equitable, fiscally responsible, and supportive of long-term national development. According to a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, the discussions were fruitful. It says the meeting concluded with firm commitments to move forward in the best interest of all Jamaicans. Finance and Public Service Minister Favour Williams affirmed the government's commitment to engaging in good faith as it worked through these negotiations. And President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, St. Patrice Ennis, noted that the Confederation remained committed to dialogue that is respectful, transparent, and grounded in the realities of their members' needs and the country's fiscal circumstances. A smaller group of stakeholders will convene a meeting with the unions and government officials in the coming week to continue the dialogue. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mark Malaver, says only 3 of the 27 claims submitted to the government during wage negotiations have been referred for consideration.
That list of claims include percentage increases that we were proposing. That list of claims included various items, for example, in terms of rebanding, looking at the trained graduates and where the trained graduates are really supposed to be situated in keeping with the recommendations of the Ernst & Young report. We would have also looked at the Orlando Patterson report and the recommendations that were coming out of the Orlando Patterson report. All we saw on that list of claims is not supported, not supported, not supported. I saw not supported until my eyes dazzled. No rationale was given as to why it was not supported. There were some items, for example, that we were so flabbergasted as to why would it be that they would not support some basic things.
The disclosure follows a meeting on Thursday involving representatives from the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, the opposition, unions, and civil society. The JTA walked out of a meeting last week in protest at what it described as a disrespectful wage offer by the government. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon characterized Thursday's talks as good and honest. However, Malaver says the explanations given for rejecting the majority of the JTA's claims were unconvincing.
So what came down on the document, for example, is not supported. When we pressed them in the meeting, if my memory serves me right, the answers that were given were not, in our view, compelling to justify why it is that they did. They would have given a response. The response, in our view, was not in keeping with the best practices that are out there. They were not aligned to the best interest of the education system.
Mark Malaver, president of the JTA. And the JTA president dismissed suggestions that his approach to the negotiations is politically motivated, given his association with the opposition PNP.
I reject that. As the president of the JTA, the presidents are non-partisan. The JTA is a non-partisan organization. However, here's where I am. The JTA consists of a diverse group of individuals drawn from across the widest cross-section of Jamaica. When I step out to represent, I represent teachers. This is not about politics. This is about advancing the interests of the teachers, 25,000 teachers across the island. That is what it is. Regardless of the political party, my representation will be fierce in the defense of our teachers.
Mark Malaver, president of the JTA. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Cassan Troop, says changes will be made to improve the pension process for retired teachers. She made the announcement at the annual general meeting and conference of the Jamaica Association of Education Officers on Thursday.
We are now reforming the pension process. I have a team on it. We're sitting down to review the process. And that's another part. I hate to hear my education officers call me, those who are retired and those teachers who are out there and they cannot tap into their pension. It's unfair to them. And so we have committed to really looking at that, and we are automating that very shortly to make sure the systems in the ministry, they are working to serve you.
Dr. Troop notes that efforts are also on the way to improve the gratuity collection process.
We have been meeting with the Corporate Services Division. We have been meeting with the Industrial Relations team. We have been meeting with the HR team. I know that's the bane of your existence. For the first time since 2012, we have submitted our appropriation report to the Ministry of Finance, the Accountant General. 24-25 appropriation report, how we spent the money. That report has gone in to the Ministry of Finance. Your team members are working. We have improved the platform for your gratuity. I know some of you in here, you're struggling. We have made that in an automated process. And so you should see improvements very, very soon.
Dr. Casson Troop, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education. Chairman of the JLP's campaign committee, Dr. Chris Tufton, is expressing confidence the party's teams for the upcoming political debates are ready for the challenge. He was speaking at a JLP media briefing on Thursday at the party's Belmont Road headquarters in St. Andrew.
We have the better teams, clearly. Our teams aren't just not a function of individuals. Our teams are teams that have had the opportunity to provide leadership and have been the force behind this achievement document, whether directly through portfolio responsibilities or indirectly through supporting the rest of government. And therefore, we believe that they are in a very good position, best position actually, to articulate around these achievements and why Jamaica is better off under the Jamaica Labour Party. So we're confident, we're comfortable, we're not taking it, we're not lightly, we're not being complacent, and we're preparing. So we look forward to the debates.
Dr. Chris Tufton, JLP campaign chairman. The first debate on social issues is set for tomorrow, Saturday, August 23. The JLP's team for that debate is Pernell Charles Jr., Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Matthew Samuda. They'll match wits with the PNP's Damian Crawford, Sophia Fraser-Binns, and Raymond Price. Dr. Tufton, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, and Finance Minister Favour Williams formed the JLP's team for the August 26 debate on the economy. Julian Robinson, Peter Bunting, and Keisha Anderson will represent the PNP in that debate. The third and final debate, the one on leadership, will pit Prime Minister Andrew Holness against the opposition leader Mark Golding and is set for Thursday, August 28. Nationwide News will have live coverage of the debates, starting with the first one on Saturday. Our coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. The governing JLP has upgraded its website to include an interactive map which highlights what the party says are its achievements in different parishes. That's what Chairman of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee, Kamina Johnson-Smith, told a media briefing on Thursday.
This is again another way in which we want to show you that we're holding ourselves accountable for the work that we said we would do for you, and we're taking you to this map. What we've done is ensured that the infrastructure work, which is many and varied, is highlighted a bit. So I want you to maybe check on St. Mary, any other parishes that you want. On St. Anne, you'll get the options there to check on how many police stations, what town police station was repaired, Bamboo Police Station, Brownstown, Cave Valley, Alexandria. Look how many police stations and lockups have been repaired or renovated in St. Anne.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, chairman of the JLP's Manifesto and Achievements Committee. The map allows users to receive updates on health centres, fire stations, water projects, major roadworks, markets, school infrastructure projects, and the vulnerable persons. There's also a good news chart on the website which shows the works undertaken by the JLP since it took office in 2016. Chairman of the JLP's Communications Task Force, Abka Fitzhenley, says the constant flip-flopping by the PNP on a number of national issues confirms the Mark Golding-led party cannot be trusted by the Jamaican people. Fitzhenley made the comment on Thursday as he reacted to word that the PNP is set to publish what the party is calling a supplementary manifesto.
I believe the indication from the opposition about a supplemental manifesto is another clear suggestion to the people of Jamaica that they can't be taken at their word. They aren't confident in their policies and plans. They will take one stance today and another tomorrow. They supported an increase in salaries, Mark Golding, the highest paid politician in the country, then they propose to criticize it. They welcome the appointment of Mrs. Holness as Speaker, then they propose to criticize it. They suggested an increase in taxes on food imports, and economists indicate that will naturally result in a rise in prices in Jamaica if implemented, then they backed off it.
Senator Fitzhenley says the opposition's policy ideas are inconsistent, incoherent, and appear subject to change based on the opposition leader's vibes at any given moment in time.
They suggested an increase in GCT, a 1% increase in GCT. None of those plans have made it to the manifesto. This talk about a supplemental manifesto is an indicator to the people of Jamaica that there can be no confidence placed on the word of the opposition PNP. The good book, I believe, says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that characterizes the posture of the Mark Golding-led opposition.
Senator Abka Fitzhenley, chairman of the JLP's Communications Task Force. And a senior member of that same Communications Task Force, Marlon Morgan, is warning Jamaicans to take note of what he says are multiple instances of violent rhetoric coming from the campaign of the opposition PNP.
We have also seen and heard a PNP activist and well-known PNP blogger on social media threatening that he is willing to open gunfire, kill people, and turn Jamaica into Haiti if his party, the PNP, loses the upcoming general election. The menacing and threatening words that emanated while the individual pledged his loyalty to the PNP candidate in St. Elizabeth is indeed disturbing. As law-abiding Jamaicans, we note and welcome reports in the news media that the individual has been taken into police custody.
The police announced that 40-year-old Giovanni Skeen, otherwise called Mother Love, has been charged under the Cybercrimes Act for threats issued in a now viral video. Morgan says Skeen's rhetoric is in keeping with signals being sent by the PNP.
It is important for the public to note that all of these recent acts have come following certain declarations. I speak here of declarations such as a declaration by a misguided PNP candidate that she is prepared for war. And there's also another declaration by another misguided PNP candidate that, quote, Shavar Mandem, end quote. The PNP's entitled approach has no place, quite frankly, in a peace-loving, law-abiding Jamaica where we are committed to elections that are free and fair and, of course, free from fear.
Marlon Morgan, a member of the JLP's Communications Task Force. Meanwhile, Skeen is now saying his words were taken out of context. The clothes vendor from Marlborough District in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth, sought to explain his troubling utterance with a post on his TikTok account.
On enough run with enough things what Mother Love say. I say things on for ask me what I say. You understand? When I say I want to turn Jamaica in a 80, I no mean for use no gun and kill nobody and them things, my friend. I no mean them things. The Mother Love never come out with a gun thing and them things. Why I say I want the Jamaica, the whole world turn in a 80? How much people out there were poor and suffer, now no house. So I say make Jamaica the world turn in a 80. The people them a forget work. Man stop thief and rob and kill people. And Mother Love me a talk about everything when me talk. My son run with it.
In a video from Nomination Day, Skeen is heard saying he would murder people for the PNP. But in his new post, he says while he supports the PNP, he believes there should be peace among supporters of both the major political parties. To back up that claim, Skeen showed viewers party shirts for both PNP and JLP figures, which he had displayed on his bed.
No Labour right, no PNP can carry me down. I mean, I die the PNP, but watch you now. Look on this. I have PNP things in my house and Labour right. I don't live for live bad, I know for unite. So I don't want to go and I don't want to take Mother Love for full show me a PNP and I still have Labour right friend. See that? You see in my house? This a dress and this a one man from Santa Cruz. Look on the colour them. Mother Love put them together, sir. Look how much people me I watch on the internet at this everybody. Them at this government, them at this everybody. I mean, this nobody more than me I make my speech. I mean, not talk about no apology to my speech. I make my speech when you ask me why I make that speech.
Giovanni Skeen, otherwise known as Mother Love. Overseas news now. The BBC is reporting that famine has been confirmed in Gaza City and its surrounding area for the first time. The BBC story quotes the IPC, a UN-backed food security body. The IPC says more than 500,000 people in the Strip are facing starvation, destitution and death, with catastrophic conditions projected to expand to Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis next month. Israel's foreign ministry has rejected the report, saying there is no famine in Gaza. The UN chief, Antonio Guterres, says the crisis is a man-made disaster as he calls for unrestricted humanitarian access to Gaza. It comes as the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his cabinet has approved plans for a new assault on Gaza City. That's the news.